Coming up on today's show, we are still in our Father's Day series. And today we have Marty Sellers on as we talk about fatherhood. Hello, darlings, and welcome to Wake Up and Show Up Live. I am your host, Portia Scott, and this is your daily show, giving you a daily dose of inspiration and empowerment. Thank you all so much for joining. How are you? Happy Friday. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Marlene. I have missed you, darling. Where have you been? I've not seen you. Good day and happy Juneteenth. Yes, we are celebrating Juneteenth today. So happy Juneteenth to all of you guys out there. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining, darling. John, thank you so much for joining. Chasman, thank you so much for joining, darling. We are super duper excited because we have been doing a Father's Day series. We started yesterday. Today, we are closing it out with our friendly neighbor, our marriage and family counselor, Martinez Sellers. He's going to come on. We're going to talk about fathers. He's a father. We are celebrating Fathers this week on Sunday. If you missed Sunday, listen, I need you to go to Portia Scott Media on YouTube, and I need you to listen to Sunday's show as it relates to men's health. Grab your brothers, grab your sons, grab your husbands, your uncles, any man that you love, share it with them. It was amazing content. Doc was on talking about the physical health. Marty was on talking about the mental health. It was hosted by my man, John Henry Scott, and it was just amazing. Paula, thank you so much for joining. Darling, Rena, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Come in. How is everyone doing? You all know what I'm going to ask you. What am I going to ask you next? What are you grateful for? What are you grateful for, my friends? What are you grateful for? You know, one of the things that I am so grateful for is, and I think I may have said this yesterday, is just I am grateful for my community. I'm grateful for the community that I have, you know, and we all have different subsets of that, right? So I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for, you know, as a podcaster, as a creative, I have different communities there. I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for the church that we serve. And so I am just so grateful for community. You know, one of the things that I'm so excited about is that I love people and I get to do life with so many different people in so many different ways. And I am just glad that, you know, God in all of his glory and all of his wisdom that he created people because he knew that we would need community. And I think it's just so important. So I'm grateful for mine. Marlene says she is grateful for hers. Yes, 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 yes. Elizabeth says, happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, darling. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Rena, happy Juneteenth. Everybody is super excited. It is a Friday. So listen, there is something that I want you guys to know is that we talked about this last week. I continue to bring it up is I need you to follow us on YouTube at Portia Scott Media. So one of the things that you'll also see in the description of this particular live is you will see a YouTube link. I want you to click that link and I want you to subscribe to the YouTube. Why? Because we are transitioning. We will still put stuff on Facebook, but we are transitioning and phasing it out. So one of the things that will begin to phase out is like one of the pages. And while I want you guys to stay here, YouTube gives us a better platform for what we are trying to do as a media company. You guys know Marty has a podcast, Mental Health Matters with Marty. We are releasing a new podcast today called Candid Conversation Time with Tamika Whiteside. We are so excited. We have a launch party scheduled for tonight. I hope you'll join us. And so YouTube allows us to do that. We are bringing in another show that is really around building bridges. And so I mean, I am super excited. And YouTube allows us to do a little bit more and expand our reach than Facebook. So I would love for you guys to come on that journey with us. And so the way you do that is you follow us on YouTube at Portia Scott Media. Also, you can always text the phrase wake up to 31996 wake up to 31996, and we'll definitely keep you in the loop. And as we're moving through this transition, we will let you guys know what is going on and what that will look like for you. Because we have a lot of people that don't really have Facebook, or they don't get on Facebook, but they love the information, so they go to YouTube. So we want to make sure that we are expanding to everybody. I want to read some of this grateful stuff because I'm excited about today. Rena says, I'm grateful for being in Texas. She's there with my sister, my niece, and my brother-in-law. So she is visiting. Marlene says, I'm just so grateful to be alive in my community. In Jesus' name, thank you for asking. And yes, I truly missed you all. Marlene, we missed you. Elizabeth said, I'm grateful for God's provision about a million other things. Wow. Exactly. A million other things. Hello, darling. Y'all see Rosetta over there? So she just proved that when you go over to YouTube, guess what? Right there. She can come on. You can see her comments. She is there. Thank you, darling. So we are super excited about that. And so if you ever want to take a social media break, listen, YouTube's not really social media. How about that? So you will still be able to watch YouTube. Anyway, listen, I want to get into the conversation. I want to talk to Marty. He is amazing. Paula says, so grateful for your expansion. Thank you so much, Paula. I appreciate you being here. I miss you, darling. Haven't seen you guys in a while. I don't know if it was me or if it was you guys just doing your thing, but I want to bring Marty on because I think it's so important that we get this conversation started. So will you guys help me in welcoming my co-host for this show, Martinez Sellers?
Good morning.
Hey, Marty, how are you?
I am amazing. I'm so proud of you and so grateful to be a part of Portia Scott Media and all that you have poured into me in helping me to fulfill my dreams. And you, listen, whoever joins your team, they're going to get, you blew my mind. You exceeded my expectations. You've been a great mentor, trainee, all of those, coach, all of those. And I am grateful for you and Pastor. So that's what I'm grateful for today, you and Pastor.
Oh, thank you, Marty. You beat me to it. You were on the show too much because you already beat me to it. You know, Marty, one of the things that it was so funny. Yesterday, I read this quote and I want to read it again. And because I'm a daughter, so I'm going to, yes, Rosetta said mental health matters for real, for real.
Yes, it does. Yes,
so,
it does.
Because I'm a daughter. And so when I look at my father, I look at it through those eyes, right? And so it says, to her, the name of father was another name for love. By Fanny Fern. And I talked about this with Thomas, is that, you know, it actually just literally makes my eyes well up. Yes. You know, I have had the amazing opportunity to have a father that was there, that has always been there. And I think about it because he didn't have to be. You know, you know, they always say mothers, babies, papas, maybe. You know, kind of thing like that. You know, I don't. Crazy. Yeah,
right.
So, but I say he didn't have to be there because you do have the opportunity to walk away. And he's just an amazing, amazing man. You know, I mean, he was a hard dad, you know, because he was in the military. He was tough. And now I realize why. Right. I realize the intent now, and I'm so grateful for it. So Marty, tell us a little bit about your baby. So how many kids do you have and what are the ages?
Okay. Well, I have, I have 3 that actually belong to me. But I have
Trey! I'm sorry. Trey said, hello, crew. I'm back. Trey, you've been gone. Yes, I know you took a mental health break. We are excited for you to be back.
Yes, we're excited about Trey. Trey just come on and we just love him. So much love to Trey. Much love to my girl, Pam. I love her too. Good. Yes. But, you know, I have 3 children. Raven, who is 29, who is an HBCU graduate from Tuskegee. Yes, and she is a school teacher. My son, 22, Christian, who is going to California Miramar playing basketball. So proud of him, and he's getting into the mental health field as well. And my 4-year-old, Tony Baloney, as we like to call her, she is our miracle child. She is the one that I thought I was done having children, and God's like, nope, you're taking this one. And I'm like, this Gray says I shouldn't have any more.
Right.
Was that your grandfather? No, that's my dad. but she is totally been all of my children. They're all so different, but they all make who I am, and I would not change the world for anything. About I love being a father. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it.
Let's talk a little bit about Raven, because Raven is your first. She's 29, and you had
Yes.
Raven while you were in college,
I
right?
was graduating from UC Berkeley.
Mhm.
So I always tell
Don't
her
let
that
John hear that.
he was on the other side of the bay. We still love him though. If he had to go to a second-rate university such as Stanford, it's
Oh!
okay. We still appreciate him. The rivalry between UC Berkeley and Stanford. But so
Absolutely.
yes, I always tell her she was at my graduation, and so yeah, she was there, and so being a broke dad,
Right.
and all of that, and I actually went to law school for a year, so I had this tough decision. I didn't want to be this stereotype that they said being a deadbeat dad,
Right.
and I had my own relationship issues with my own father at that time.
Mhm.
Um, and so with that, God in his infinite wisdom knew what to
Right.
do.
Right.
So I thought I was on this journey. I figured I was going to be on the Ninth Circuit of the Ninth Circuit Court, because I couldn't. So I figured they would pull something out from Berkeley that would prevent me from being on the Supreme Court.
You could almost get there.
I can almost get there. So in that journey and running out of money, because went to a private law school,
Mhm.
and so I came back and moved back from San Francisco back to Southern California, and just became a dad and
Right.
reinvented my life, because I did not believe that our children don't ask to be here. And
Right.
I felt it was my responsibility
Right.
to raise my daughter, even if her mother and I weren't together. And we tried to mend it. But we're the best of friends. We figured we were great, 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 great. Even to this day, if I need anything, even when she got married, she made sure her husband was comfortable with me. And she's like, listen, this is my daughter's dad, and he's going to always be in our lives. And I appreciate that, and that we have always been friends. So for Raven, she did never, this was normal to her.
Mhm.
And that's how we always wanted to be. And in her siblings, I love on them just the same as they were mine as well, because children need to know that we can have healthy relationships.
Right.
Because our parents are not together does not mean we can't be civil. So we never went into court and fought. We never fought with child support, because
Mhm.
we said we are believers and we
Mhm.
should be able to come together and reason together. Did we have
Absolutely.
disagreements?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we never got to the point where we fought over visitations. Like, hey, I want her this week. Okay, take her.
Mhm.
Um, hey, she needs money. Here, how much do you need? So it's
Yeah.
never that fighting
Yeah.
back and forth. And it was such a blessing.
I love that. I think sometimes we are in this society, right? And my father raised me that way, raised
Mhm,
all of the girls that way, and
mhm.
how important family was. And we
Yes.
knew how important we were. We knew that he would not only fight for us, but he would put us first.
Yes.
And even in my own children, with John Henry, I know for a fact that I know they are important.
Yes.
I know that he's going to do what he needs to do for them.
Mhm.
But we are sometime in a culture where it says, well, why would you give up law school, or why would you give up this to be a parent, especially when sometime you may not know how to be, you
Mhm.
know? And
Mhm.
so what is out of Raven, I mean Raven Christian and Tony Baloney,
Tony Baloney.
what is the one thing you love about being a dad, Marty? Like, what is the one thing you love about being a dad?
That no matter where I am at mentally, financially, socially, whatever, they love me for who I am. They love me because I am their dad. They give me unconditional love, and as a result of that, not saying it's but I love them the same too. And at my lowest points in life, they've loved me through dark times, that I held on to. I have to do this for them. I remember a time at one of my lowest points, and Christian's mother and I were in a divorce and everything, and I was broke. I didn't have no money and everything, and I was beating myself up because we couldn't do the things, going to Six Flags and all these other things, because I had started a new job and all these other things, and barely making it. And he and I were talking maybe about a year ago. And he goes, "Dad, one of the best summers we had was that summer," and he described the summer, and I'm thinking to myself, "Are you serious?" He goes, "No, we swam every day. We had barbecues. My friends were over." And I'm going, "Son, I could only afford getting, hot dogs and hamburgers that summer. So we couldn't afford anything. So we swam every day because that's all we could do." He goes, "But that was the best time of my childhood." And so I share that with a lot of fathers to say, it's not about where you take them, how much money you have, how much money you spend on them or anything. It's about the quality time that you spend with them. That outweighs everything that you do. And so with that, it reminded me, it's not about the gifts. It's not about this and that. It really is about, as we as fathers, as we as Black fathers, to show up in our children's lives. And because of that, I knew all of their friends. They knew me. So they knew the rule was, listen, if you step into this house, you belong to me.
You belong to me. It's so funny you said that. So Thomas said the very same thing, was showing up. Right.
Yes.
And so I think one of the things is so amazing. I remember my parents, I had to be really young. My parents had bought me this super expensive bedroom set. Right. I mean, it was like one of a kind. They bought it in Germany, and it literally was a doll set. Like, it was a doll house, not no fake. I mean, it was everything. And my parents talk about it because they were so excited that they could afford this bedroom set. Like, I mean, my father was in the military. It was, they had saved, they had, put everything together, and they were so excited about it. And Marty, the thing that I remember the most.
What's that?
Has nothing to do with that bedroom set. But I remember when I was in the 4th grade, and I tell this story all the time. I was 9 years old, and I was getting ready to go into the state champions for track meet. And I got hurt. And you know what I remember? I remember as I was falling off my bike that my dad was there. I remembered how he picked me up, and I remember how he bandaged me. Wow. And so the bedroom set was nice, and it may have been even something I asked for. But today, I remember the fact that he's always there, that he's catching me. Yes. So it is those things that I remember those things. I remember him showing up when it mattered, when I needed him to tell me it was going to be okay. And so I think that's so important, that your son's like, "Hey, you remember?" And you're like, I was completely broke.
Right.
And
I was at my mentally and emotionally at my lowest point. But I remember those days I had to force myself to, I don't feel like doing this, but let me just jump in this pool. I don't feel, oh my God, I'm so tired. But he was just like, that was the best time of my life. And I'm like, wow. Okay. Wow. And it gives you the perspective.
Yeah, it does. It puts things in perspective. I love it. Hi, Jerron. Jerron is over on YouTube. Look at all these people. See, they are going over to YouTube. Yes. They are doing it. Thank you guys so much. Marty, you know what? What is one of the most challenging things about being a father? So you have kids that are spread out, like John Henry and I, right? 29, 22, and 4. Yes. And so talk to me a little bit about what's one of the challenges about being a father, because it's amazing. But what are some of the a challenge that you face?
At this point in time, because Tony's my miracle child. So I adopted Tony when she was born. She is my deceased cousin's daughter. And unfortunately, Tony was born into some conditions. After I read her report after adopting her, I didn't realize that Tony had coded upon birth, and they did that whole cold slab treatment on her. And she did not have physical touch for the first 3 weeks of her life because she was on life support. and born premature, and was addicted to heroin and a couple other things that was in her bloodstream. So one of the difficult things about but Tony brings me so much joy because every time I look at her, I see a miracle of God. Because I had absolutely nothing, and my church threw me this surprise baby shower that got Pampers, everything I needed, and that was absolutely. They had me in tears in front of the whole church.
So I have to ask, the little girl with all the hair that runs through on Sundays. I don't know what it is about Sundays. So you adopted her.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, Marty.
That was not in my plan. I'm like, God, I am too old. My kids are grown. I'm supposed to live my best life now. Wow. And he goes, not so.
And here comes this infant. What tugs at your heart at that? Because I assume, because I know you and Christian's mom had gone through a divorce. Mm-hmm. Were you single at that time too?
Yes.
So here you are, you getting ready to live your best life because your kids, I mean, Raven is 24, 25, Christian's getting ready to go out of the house.
Yes, I pushed him out the house.
Outside of God, right? Because we can still make these decisions. What made you say yes to that? Like what makes you say yes to this baby? And now you know, she hadn't had touch. She has these things in her system. Anything could happen along the way. What pushes you to say yes to that?
It was not me. It was totally a God thing. So even as a single father, I was also a foster parent. So I had 2 foster kids. Not at that time. So I was a kind of emergency foster dad as well. So I've had some foster kids that stayed with me as a single Black man. So is it possible? Yes. And we'll go into the other dichotomy of some other stuff later. But so I understood the foster care system. And other family members were trying to get approved to go through that. I was already approved. And I'm like, really, God? Is this why you had me become approved to be a foster parent? Wow. So when they said, was there anyone else in the family? I'm like, I'm already in the system, approved, and all my background checks. They're like, oh my God, then let's do it. Even with that, the plan was I was just to take her temporarily until she was able to get clearance to go to Ohio with her biological, her mother's sister and her grandmother. Mm-hmm. God had a whole nother plan.
Yeah.
And then with that, I thank God for amazing support systems. So at that time, I was talking about opening up my own private practice with my business partner, Trisha, who's on here.
Yeah, Trisha's on.
Trisha's on here. And God orchestrates everything. And I really didn't even know Trisha that well at that time. Right. So, you know, she was at church, I was at church, and blah, blah, blah. And she had just got finished with the divorce. I was finished, you know, I was like, hallelujah, all that. And so we were talking about this business idea and all that. And then she just like, whatever you need for the baby, I'm there to help out and everything. And so that's why Tony calls Trisha
mom.
Yes.
Yes. Got it.
And so with that, all she knows is Trisha. And what is ironic about that too, and I love it because in this midst of racial tension and all of that, Trisha being a white woman and me being a black male, and Tony not seeing color and all of that. And Trisha also has 3 children as well, and her children are biracial as well. And so everyone at our church always says, well, Trisha just got the honorary black card. Anyway, she a soul sister anyway.
Trisha is definitely an ally. She totally is. Yeah.
Right. And we've just become amazing friends and
family.
Right. We are family. So nonetheless, Tony is in her will. Her children consider me like a stepfather. My children run to her.
I love it.
Well, Christian and I were talking. What you talking to? Get you what? So.
I love it. Marty, I love how you've created this safe place for all your children, and the ones that are biological, the ones Trisha's, family.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that. And I love that we can see that. Like
Yeah.
we can see this, the media shows a lot, but
Yes.
there's so much more that they don't show, right?
Right.
They don't show the
Right.
dads doing hair. They don't show the dads that are jumping into pools, that they're in a place where they can't go to Disney World, but the
Right.
pool is what they can give them. The park is what they can give them. Picking them up when they scrape their
I'm
knee.
learning how to braid hair.
Right. It's hard. Don't worry. Some moms out here that
wrist and yes. Wait a minute.
So this was so good. I wish we could go longer. And I told you already, I got to have you on the podcast to hear your whole story, because I want everybody to hear the story. But I have to ask you, if there's a new dad out there, or a dad that's struggling in his relationship with his children.
Yes.
I don't think it's ever lost, because I think that young man, that young lady, they still desire their dad. What advice would you give to both of those? One, a new dad, and then one that is maybe that relationship is strained. And how do we get that right?
For new dads, what I would say, don't give up. Don't give up. That child sees you as their king, as their hero, as their protector, and you are everything to them. You're their life. You're their provider. All of that. Love on them. Even when it's difficult, continue to love on them. Even when the baby mama, if you're not together and all that, continue to love on them. If you can't see them because there's some custody issues, write them a note and put it in this box, a treasure box, so that when they turn 16 or whenever, you give them this treasure box to say, this is how much I love you, because I thought about you and loved you even before you even knew what love was. And for that father who's struggling and may not even have the example, be everything that you needed from your own father. And that's what I did, and tried to model myself after for my children. Everything that you needed, you be that for them. And don't be afraid to ask other dads. Don't be afraid to speak up and say, hey, I'm confused, I'm hurt, I'm angry, I don't know what to do. Create your own support system. I have 3 other best friends, Brent, Steve, Vindon, and we talk almost every day. We're on a thread, and some days I'm like, I can't talk to y'all today. But they have been my saviors when I'm like, okay, I'm about to kill Christian. So one of y'all need to get here like ASAP because I'm about to go to jail for real. And so with that, we've been a support system to each other. When I've been off the hook and chain and wrong, they're like, you wrong and they're right. I'm like, I don't know, you wrong and they're right.
Right.
With that, just to have that sounding board, we can no longer, and you hear me say this, suffer in silence, but we have to speak up. We have to speak out in order that we might be able to live as great fathers, live as great Black fathers, defying the whole negative stereotype about deadbeat dads.
Yes, I love that, Marty. Thank you for that. Trey says, I try to be the best father for my children. I love that. I love it. And just everyone is just saying, yes, that is amazing. Trey again. Yes, Marty. Pamela says, challenge, but I'm glad to have found this YouTube experience. Come on, Pamela. Yes. Trey, Portia, you look different. Beautiful. What's the secret? I got me a new skincare routine, Trey. Thank you, darling. Thank you. I can see it's working. It may be the lighting too, but thank you guys so much. And then I hope, Jerron, I hope I'm saying your name right. He said, you are a G, bro. So
I'm just Marty, man. And I just that most of 90% of us, when we're put in those type of situations, would step up to it. So I don't think that I'm doing anything special. I just think I'm doing what every Black man, every father desires to do. And I just had the opportunity of doing it without a lot of obstacles in my way. And I just want to encourage all Black fathers out there, listen, do what you know to do. Step up, even when it hurts, because our children remember those things. It's not even about it's not even about buying them. So if you can only afford a $1 ice cream cone from McDonald's, so who cares?
That's right.
They just remember that, like you said, Portia, that he was there.
That's
he was
right.
able to bandage you. He loved on you when you were hurting.
Yeah. And so being a dad is the best you're on, and fatherhood is. So, Marty, I never want to leave without people being able to connect with you. So how can people connect with you?
Yes. Mental Health Matters with Marty on Facebook. That's the one to contact me on Facebook. Also, you can check out my podcast, thanks to Portia Scott. Yes, Mental Health Matters with Marty. And we are on all your podcasting streams of Spotify, iHeart, and Google, all those others, and soon to come, mentalhealthmarty.com.
Excellent. Marty, thank you so much for that. Thank you for always being here. I appreciate it. Listen, I'm sure I'm going to talk to you before Sunday, but just in case I don't, have an amazing Father's Day and happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for commenting. Thank you so much for jumping on YouTube and answering the call. Again, if you're not over there, follow us on YouTube, because we will be transitioning. So if you love shows like this, if you love the weekly show, head over there, because we'll have that going. We have a new show that we're creating, and just so much more that we're going to be able to do as a media company, and so excited about that platform. So you guys, two things. One, tonight at 8 p.m., if you follow me, look out for the notifications. We are having a podcast launch party for Candid Conversation Time, which is a podcast by Tamika Whiteside. And really, we're having these candid conversations, the ones that you have at the water cooler, the ones that you have with your friends when no one is listening. We're having those in-depth conversations there. Also, I want to make sure that I wish every single father that is on this call, on the show, also everyone that will watch the replay, I want to wish you a very, very special happy Father's Day. We love you guys. We need you guys, and continue to do what you're doing. We end every single show with this declaration: waking up is automatic. Showing up is intentional. Today, I will show up. I will see you on Monday. Same bat time, same bat channel.